Oh man, look at that. Look at this guy. Wow. What a happy worm. Look at that guy right there. Look at that. That's a little blue-tailed skink right there, okay? We don't want to pinch it because it will lose its tail, but that's it. Folks, today on the Stoney Ridge Farm Channel, we're gonna show you how to take this and turn it into this beautiful, gorgeous, organic garden with no pesticides, no fertilizer, no nothing, just soil and plants. Come along, let's learn something today. Hey there folks, this is Josh, Stoney Ridge Farmer. Welcome back to another gorgeous day here on the Stoney Ridge Farm. It is my favorite day of the year. It's garden planting day. So today we're gonna show you, if you don't know how to plant a garden, we're gonna show you if you do know how to plant a garden, we're gonna give you some awesome ideas. These are our raised beds. We've used Amazon boxes to cover our raised beds for the winter. We've left some of them alone and we put chickens on some of them. So come along today as we show you how to plant your garden. I don't care if you're planting it in the ground, in a bucket on your back porch, in a flower pot, whatever you choose, this is how to do it, and this will give you some great ideas for your future garden on your place. Stoney Ridge Farm, Stoney Ridge, Stoney Ridge Farm. All right, folks, welcome back to the Stoney Ridge Farm Channel. If this is your first time here, hit the like button and subscribe. I'd love to have you back here. Everybody asks that, but I mean it. I mean it. So all around us is a 150-acre first-generation cattle farm right now. We're incorporating laying hens. We have meat bird chickens. We're going to be bringing in some hogs, and this is our garden. This is the garden that we feed our family with. This is not the garden that we sell veggies. I don't have time to sit at the farmer's market all day on Saturday and Sunday to sell $80 worth of squash. I just don't have time, guys. So what we have here are raised beds that I made off of our Wood Miser sawmill over here. Again, it's a very fun channel. This is all about rural lifestyle and building an all-natural farm. So let's look at our raised beds and let's look at what we've got. We've got some differences going on here. You see my tomato cages? I just simply store them here. We're gonna take a look at these in a second. This is Amazon boxes being repurposed to help heal the land. This is what happens if you don't cover it up. And all this soil came from that soil pile right there that I've been creating with manure, shavings, sawdust, chicken manure, all sorts of awesomeness, eggshells. It's just been great. So as we walk through here, the chickens have not been in here, and this is basically simply chickweed. And chickweed is pretty doggone tasty. It really is. It almost has no flavor, and the little flowers are very, very sweet. So look in here, we've got a little bit of plantain growing in here. This is not something that I would recommend eating, but I think it is something natural that you can eat. We're gonna be pulling this out, and we're gonna be taking all this stuff that you see here, and we're gonna put it in our chicken coop so that our eggs are absolutely delicious. Now, you can see I've been raided by the deer. The deer are jumping in here and grabbing weeds and eating them, and we definitely have to show you how we're gonna build our deer fence, and the posts are already in the ground for that. We have a little electric fence that we're gonna put around here. These are chicken footprints, and the chickens have been in here. They've been in here grazing and pooping and doing what they're supposed to do, and they've been in here. I've started to clear out some of the weeds here, and I'll show you some pretty cool tools to clear out the weeds. Now, look at this soil, guys. This is completely organic, no fertilizer whatsoever. And you notice as I reach down in there, it hasn't rained in days. Look, it's all about building drought-tolerant soil. So the more organic material you can get into your soil, you can incorporate into your soil, the less compacted, the better it's gonna be. Look at that. Awesome. That came from that pile, and it gets better every single year. When we clean the chicken coops out in the fall, we spread the manure on here. We use cow manure, chicken manure, composted cow manure. If you don't have access to this stuff, you can go to your local garden supply store and use composted cow manure, and you can use garden soil mix, whatever you choose to use. Now, you've seen the difference. This is unmaintained and this was covered up. So first things first, let's just uncover this and see what it looks like. I have not seen it yet. By the way, guys, stick around to the end. We're gonna show you our edible landscape here on the farm. We've got some awesome edible landscapes up in our flower beds, something super simple that you could do even if you live in a neighborhood that has a homeowners association. So there has to be a way around that. You need to be able to grow your food. It's fun, it's interesting, and it makes you a better person. So let's whip all this stuff out and see what we've got underneath. I bet we've got a mouse family underneath. There's a couple bees' nests. Okay, didn't expect that. There's a lot of cucarachas. Well, folks, I honestly did not anticipate the bee problem here, but we're gonna be solving the bee problem really quickly here. We're just gonna simply flick them out, down underneath. Oh man, look at that. Look at this guy, wow. What a happy worm. Look at that guy right there. That's what we're looking for. Put him back in the garden, that's what we want. Worm castings, yeah baby. So we've got a little bit of trash in here. This is called a loop hoe, okay, or a stirrup hoe. And we're just gonna take that loop hoe and we're just gonna go through and cultivate just a little bit here, okay? I also brought my electric fly swatter to rid myself of these bees if they come back after me. And I'm not about killing anything, but I'm really not about getting bee stung either. And they are not happy campers. You can hear that thing popping. There's one go bye-bye. Nice. That looks fantastic. So that's what it looks like if you put Amazon boxes over the top. I think it's an awesome way to repurpose Amazon boxes, and we can still put those in the recycle bin. Cool. Now let's go over here and we'll show you one that we just let grow up. Okay, you didn't know this was gonna be an animal and entomology lesson, but this is a blue-tailed skink and it's getting ready to take off running. Look at that. That's a little blue-tailed skink right there, okay? We don't want to pinch it because it will lose its tail, but that's it. And that is a male blue-tailed skink. The females have blue underneath their gills right here, or their ears, not gills, ears. That is a blue-tailed skink. Pretty cool, huh? We'll let him go back out here in the grass, or he'll jump. So we're up here with our wheelbarrow. That wheelbarrow is gonna house all this stuff. We're just gonna get in here and start pulling it out, okay? So make great chicken snacks. And it only takes just a few minutes. So if you don't wanna put Amazon boxes in, you don't have to. We're gonna see what the soil looks like. So far, the soil under the Amazon boxes looks pretty fantastic. Oh, chicken snacks, baby. Look at this, guys. Oh, these chickens are gonna have a blast with that. Chickens are always frightened, so that's why they call them chicken. There you go, girls. Grub it down. Now that is gonna make our eggs absolutely delicious. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more to go. You guys be the judge real quick. What do you think looks better? This looks pretty good, but this, where I had the Amazon boxes, looks almost better. Check it out. So look at the soil here, the blackness, some little bit of stuff in there, a little bark. Look at that. Versus no Amazon boxes over here. Still good soil, but not quite as black, a little more clumpy. Okay, a little drier. That did better than this. So we'll get you a time lapse of getting all this cleaned up, and then we're gonna go up and show you where we plant our pepper plants. Peppers are absolutely gorgeous plants and they require very little maintenance, such as tomatoes. They don't require very much maintenance either, and peppers are really beautiful. So that's why we plant our peppers right up by the house. They don't get so big that they get out of control like out here in the garden, so the garden can be a little bit more of a mess than right up next to the house. But if you want to keep it organized, just get you some nice tomato cages like that. This is the loop hoe or stirrup hoe. It's shaped like a stirrup, like for a saddle for horses. It goes in and it cuts the root, so it's sharp on that edge and sharp on that edge. I'll show you how it's used. Just like that. Dig, dig, dig. Annihilates the weeds. Cuts their roots, chops them up. There'll be a link to this in the video description for you guys, in case you want to pick yourself one up. 45 seconds, all the weeds are done. They're all terminated. Take your rake. This is a garden rake. Garden rake has thick, heavy tines like that. Smooth it all out. Smooth this side out. Notice I flipped the rake over. That's a fully prepped garden bed in less than 2 minutes. That is easy. It's called a stirrup hoe. So here we have our prepared garden bed, and here we have our wonderful tomatoes. These are Better Boys, very simple. We're gonna squeeze the pack just a little bit, just like that. Okay, we're gonna take our fingers, we're just gonna slide them out. Give it a little booty pat right there. You guys can leave me a comment on that. I know it's funny. A little booty pat, toss this guy to the side, and then we want to just basically take our hands and dig down in and get ourselves some nice loose dirt, go about 6 inches deep, and bury. We want to create a little bowl around the outside edge of this plant so that water runs to it, okay? We want our plant spacing to be 16 to 18 inches. Once again, dig down. Put your plant in the ground, gently depress the soil around and make a little bowl. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do 6 per bed. These beds are 4 by 8. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Fingers in, pat the booty. There it is. In the plant bed it goes. Compress the soil. So onward and upward to every one of these plant beds right here. We're gonna do that with every one of them. The same thing applies to your peppers and to your beautiful purple eggplant, except for tomatoes will sprout roots right out of the stem right here, okay? So you can bury them on up about that deep and they'll sprout roots out. You get suckers in here and you can actually plant those suckers. So if one of them dies, you can break off a sucker, which is in a V, right down in that V, and you can plant that if you have a plant that does not make it. The next thing we'll do is thoroughly water these. You can use a water jug, you can use anything you want. We're gonna take you up to the house real quick and we'll show you the edible landscape, and then we'll come back down here and show you how we keep deer out with a cool, simple electric fence. Oh, I'm dirty and I'm tired and I'm happy. These are our edible landscapes right up here in the flower bed, right in front of the house, guys. Super simple, super easy. These are from Ole Gardens. I'll post a link down in the video description. I do believe they gave me a discount code. If I did get one, it'll be down there and it'll also be in a pinned comment up there. Simply put, this is the same scenario, except for these are made out of metal with a high quality finish on them so that they do not rust over years and years and years. So if you don't have access to wood, like I do with the sawmill, and you can't build your own, you can easily put one of these together. All the tools come right in the kit. Super, super simple, and you can get them in any size for your own particular use. Here's what we gotta do. We got green bell peppers, cayenne peppers, and I also brought up some of these awesome eggplants. So first thing we're going to do, cayenne pepper is absolutely gorgeous, guys. So we'll go ahead and we'll just plant 1, 2, 3, 4 right there. Same thing, squeeze, 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 squeeze. We'll leave this little sticker in here, that way we know what we've got. Pat the booty. Right there, out she comes. The benefit of having a raised bed is you don't have to bend over quite so far. Set this to the side. We'll dig our little hole here. This is topped off with potting soil. Okay, just like so. Drop them in their holes, just like so. We'll go ahead and get these here done too. Really simple, guys. 1, 2, and that's our cayennes. That simple to plant. If you can't plant a garden, it's because you ain't trying, man. I'll show you how we water these, and it's how we water our entire garden. We don't waste water, which is super important to me. Wasting less, working with nature, not against nature. Super important as a gardener and a farmer. For watering our garden, we have this awesome hose reel and this wand. We pull, and it's a 100-foot hose reel. Take it all the way to our plants. Don't waste water. Make it rain on them. It's imperative that you water these as soon as you plant them, and the next day you water them too. This shocks the plant, disturbing the roots like this, and you've got to get a good root set. So water them thoroughly. Don't worry, they might fall over a little bit. Just be as gentle as you can. See how much water we used? Barely any water, probably a half of a 5-gallon bucket full of water. You can also wet the soil down all around the plant if you like. That will help the garden bed to retain moisture. Why do a raised bed? Because it takes less water, it takes less energy, and it's easier on your back. I did not have to water my garden all year last year after I planted. 3 days after I planted, using this wand to water my garden down there, I never had to water after that. And it was a dry year. Raised beds are awesome. Let's go down and show you how the deer fence works. So we don't have power down here at the garden. This is called the IntelliShock 120 electric fence controller. This electric fence controller has 2 batteries in it. Those 2 batteries are charged by a solar panel, so we don't have to have power down here. Just 2 simple alligator clips. The red one goes to the wire. The black one goes to the post. These are called pigtail step-in posts. I'll pull one out real quick and show you. That's the pigtail. It's insulated, it won't shock you. And that is the step-in. So that, you step on that, it mashes right into the ground. And it's just that simple, if you don't hit a rock like I just did. So we'll go ahead and we'll run our poly wire or poly braid. You can easily obtain this. There'll be a link down in the video description. If you need to get these posts, there'll be links to these too down in the video description for you. This is a good way to keep deer out. We're gonna run 2 runs of fence around with post spacing about this far apart. So each post, or like here and here, are spaced about 3 feet apart. The deer have trouble negotiating this 3-dimensional obstacle, so it helps to keep the deer out. Pretty cool. So we're gonna run 2 laps around, and we need to make sure that the inner one is connected to the outer one. I'll show you that. You don't need this, but this is a geared reel. It makes it easy for reeling it up. That way, if you gotta mow the yard, we simply take this. I've tied a knot in it, a loop in it. I'll take that loop, and that's going to attach to our post, and we'll take this one and loop it right through this post. We'll give it a little wrap, just like so, and then we'll head down the line. I'm gonna tie this little handle. I'll put a link to it down there in the video description too. I'll simply tie it right to the post. Just using a granny knot. Pretty simple. Actually, I'm gonna use a fishing knot. I think it's called a half hitch. So it tightens up just a little more. Kind of like a slip knot. You learn this as you go, and it's okay. You don't have to know everything right away, guys. So we'll hook this right onto our fence post right there. Actually, we're gonna hook it right on and give it a little twist into our wire. So all of our wires are interconnected, and if we've got a loose wire, I'll show you exactly what to do. Got a little sag here. I've got 2 different types of posts. You can buy both types of posts. I'll put links to both. We've got a sag in the line, which won't hurt a thing in the world, just doesn't look quite as neat as it should. Simply take your string and wrap it around your post a couple times like that. Now we're all done. We'll take our ground it. The black one is the ground, and then we'll take our hot wire, clip it on there, turn the power on, bam. good to go, electrified. It needs to be electrified. It sends a pulse out, just a pulse. So if a deer touches its nose to it, it's not gonna zap it and harm it. It's just gonna tick, just gonna pulse. That's what our goal is, to spook them, to keep them away. We don't wanna hurt them, we just wanna spook them away. That is a 7-minute deer fence. Amazing, huh? Awesome, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope it made you think a little bit about edible landscape. I hope it made you think about raised beds. I will say the Amazon boxes worked like a charm. Fantastic. I will cover each one of these with Amazon boxes in the future. For weed control, all we do is take that loop hoe and go right through there, or we'll go down and we'll get some wood chips and put it on there. You can also use compost for weed control. So just take compost, put it right on top of the ground. Whenever you get weeds, it'll roast the weeds and feed the plants. You don't need chemicals, you don't need fertilizer, you just need to work with nature. Work with nature and you'll be successful. Fight against nature and you'll forever be fighting. Guys, thanks a lot. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Love to have you back here on the Stoney Ridge Farm. We got to get in the honeybees here in just a minute. See you later. Woo!
Come on down to the Stoney Ridge. Bring your wife and bring your kids. We're living life pure and sweet. That's the way it's supposed to be, Stoney Ridge.
Don't like the bee's nest idea. Those are mean little yellow jackets too. I also brought my electric fly swatter to rid myself of these bees. And I'm not about killing anything, but I'm really not about getting bee stung either. There's one go bye-bye. Don't like you. Why are you taking over my garden beds, guys? You gotta go. You gotta go, buddy. And there he goes.